Bear down, Chicago Bears. Here we are, Black Monday, and the Chicago Bears haven't done anything. They haven't made a move. They haven't picked anybody yet. Um, so you got to be asking the question, what is going on? Well, early rumors were that Matt Eberflus was, of course, going to be returning, and I'm not sure whether those are the real pieces of news or not. I'm not sure that that's what we're going to be doing. But I think at this point, if there's no move to be made for the Chicago Bears and they did not make a move, then you have to be asking your question, are Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles watching the Michigan Wolverines tonight, trying to see what it's going to take in order to lure Jim Harbaugh away? That's what we're going to look at tonight. So buckle in. Okay, guys. So it looks like to me that this is the results of Black Monday so far. This is what we have for the Chicago Bears. Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo. So there's no final decision on Matt Eberflus, and that the Bears are still weighing their options. They did indicate the most likely outcome is his return. The Commanders, meanwhile, have requested permission to interview Bears assistant GM Ian Cunningham and several others for their GM opening. They are full speed ahead in their decision. And then that kind of wraps it up. But the Raiders and Jim Harbaugh have mutual interest. So now we have a little news coming out saying that the Raiders are part of this. I don't know that that is or is not the case. I think we're all looking for Jim Harbaugh to come to Chicago and his uh, finish out for the home team, if you will. So I would get the sense, or at least the idea here, that that's the big move. That's what's coming up next for the Chicago Bears. But the Bears and the balanced, the Packers are still own the Bears, and this one hurts a lot. We've been and look, I famously came on here the last couple days telling anybody who would listen that the Bears were going to dominate the Packers. They were going to let them have it. I did not expect in any way. I was not prepared for a full-on rushing attack where Justin Fields goes an entire game with only 16 pass attempts. That to me, guys, I wouldn't use the word travesty too much to describe what the Chicago Bears were doing. Dorian, thanks for coming in. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Anybody, if you do pop in here, please make sure that you hit the like button on the way in. Helps me trend, and we've still got the score from yesterday. We don't want to see that, but that is the end of the season. Bears go out with a loss to the rival Green Bay Packers. But the important thing is, I said that going into this game that this is the team that we've been waiting for all season long. We've been waiting to see the Chicago Bears that we were seeing the last couple of weeks. There were mistakes. There were rookie moves that they didn't look great at times, but they did just enough to look convincing. And it's fair to say the better team won on Sunday night. The Green Bay Packers obviously were not flawless by any means, but I believe that Jordan Love was 27 of 32, 300 yards passing. And by the way, we should also say that Justin Fields did not have a horrible passing outing. He was 70% completion, didn't have any interceptions. 11 for 16, 148 yards. But the rushing game, they could not get going. And, this makes you wonder distinctly. And I watch Twitter, I watch X, I pay attention to what people are saying. And, we see the product on the field, and we know that product is not doing what it should be doing. And it's not performing to the level that we think that it should be performing at. So, what do you make of a team that that doesn't maximize its quarterback? What do you do when something like that happens? And for this team, it was just run the ball. And Luke Getsy The guy whose job is on the line had decided to take look, this is it. I don't know what the Chicago Bears are going to decide with Justin Fields. I know that tomorrow I'm going to be a Justin Fields fan. I know that a lot of people are going to be Justin Fields fans. And I don't know anybody who actually is a Luke Getsy fan outside of his family at this point, and the Green Bay Packers, because, while I was feeling bad yesterday, what did I keep telling everybody who would listen? That this was the best game that Luke Getsy coached for the Packers, because he gave them every opportunity to win. He took the game out of the hands of the best player on the Chicago Bears. That's what you have to consider. Now, this is where we are. You have a couple of things that you can do from this point, right? You have Justin Fields, who we all know what Justin Fields brings to the table. We all know who Justin Fields is. We know what he's capable of. We know that he is a game changer. We know that Justin Fields can make all the throws, can make all the plays. He can do just a little bit of everything. And, it's a shame that a game in which he could have won, that he had the opportunity, was taken out of his hands. And how do you decide whether or not this guy is the future of your franchise if you don't give him a chance to prove it? I mean, that is the question that I posit to people. How do you know whether or not he is a franchise quarterback if you don't let him run your franchise? If you don't sink or swim, what were the Bears going to accomplish yesterday other than to ensure that the Green Bay Packers were not going to win? Like, what's the purpose? There's no other purpose other than to just beat the Packers. That's it. That's your only job. And what do the Bears do? Underperform at every given level. They don't give this guy a chance. They don't give him the ball. Our law says the Bears now have too many chefs in the kitchen, including McCaskey, Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles. Expect them to remain in chaos. They will draft talent, but will end up with the same results till they get top tier coaching. Now, I would venture to say this. I would venture to say that I don't look, the idea of running the ball for a team with Justin Fields as the quarterback, being a run-oriented team, that's not a bad idea. That's not a losing philosophy. That wasn't a bad call. It was poorly executed. It was poorly designed. And you're right. That is coaching. That is and does represent a problem with the coach. But here's the thing. I would posit to you that Matt Eberflus has control of this team. I would venture to say to you that the players love Matt Eberflus and play hard for Matt Eberflus and would continue to play hard for Matt Eberflus. Like, I don't think that, I don't think what we're looking at here is a total, I want to say, wreck. I don't think I don't think he's a total wreck, but I think that what we're looking for is this guy right here, right? So I think that, when we talk about Matt Eberflus, he's got the team willing to play hard. He's got the team willing to work hard. He's got the team willing to do what they need to do in order to be successful. That's a recipe for that's a winning formula. And this defense was the number one defense against the run through 16 games. I don't know how it ended up. We'll take a moment here and go look at the stats. But, the Bears were the number one rushing defense through at least games 16 for the season. That's significant. So let's look at the defense here. Teams yards allowed rushing. So the Bears clock in as the number one rushing defense in all of football last year. So, to say that there's a problem here with the Chicago Bears all around, I don't think that's genuine. Now, the other part to it is They did not do very well. They ranked at the very bottom against the pass. Now that seems to me, and guys, tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below. I'm going to ask this question: are the Chicago Bears as bad as this? Are they as bad as, I mean, what is this? They're 23rd, 24th in total passing defense, but Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon, Eddie Jackson. How is that the worst or one of the worst passing defenses? Is that play calling? Is that are we going back to Matt Eberflus as the problem because he also had the number one rushing defense? So I think there's something missing here. There was a disconnect on the defense. You can definitely see that. And of course, they gave up a lot of points early on in the season. So maybe maybe if I broke this down into the second half of the season, maybe they ranked better. I don't know. I don't know how that would play out. But clearly they need a little bit of help. Total yards, by the way, Chicago Bears are 3, 6, 9, 12, number 12 overall in total yards. So this is a top 15 defense. They're in the top half of the league. When we get to the offense, this is where the quote unquote the rubber hits the road, if you will. Chicago Bears were all the way down here. Bottom 20. I want to say, like, that's the 3, 6, 9, 12. So they were number 20. They were number 20 in total offense. In passing offense, they were number 26. And then in rushing, they were number 2. So this is not a bad team. This is just a bad result for this team. So, here's the reason that I posit this as a question to you guys is this: the Bears aren't as bad as we think they are. They're not as good as we hope, but they're not as bad as we think they are. So now the question comes: do you stick with Justin Fields, or do you move on? And if you move on, is Caleb Williams your guy? Now, the Chicago Bears are going to have to make a decision, and they're going to have to make a decision pretty soon. Now, they have until April to come up with who they want to draft. I think it's pretty simple to say that if you think that Justin Fields is your guy, and by that I mean if you think that he is a franchise quarterback, and you think that you can make a Super Bowl run with Justin Fields, if you think you can make that move, then you go with Justin Fields. You stick with him and you do what got you to the dance. You go with Justin Fields. But if you are not really convinced that Justin Fields can get you to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to draft Caleb Williams. You're going to have to draft maybe Drake May, but I mean, I think Caleb Williams is most people's guy. But also, one of the things that you have to ask yourself, and I'm going to ask this, Ahmad Cole says you move on and draft a quarterback. And, here's what I say to this. I'm going to say, I don't know that there won't be more quarterbacks. I don't know that the top quarterbacks are going number 1 in the draft to begin with. So I don't know that the pressure is going to be on the team at the quarterback position as much as what you would think. And by that, I don't mean any disrespect to Justin Fields, and I don't mean any disrespect to Caleb Williams. The product on the field. Ask yourself this question: You're in the training room. You're out here. You're looking at what the product is, and you have to ask yourself, who coached Justin Fields to only have 16 passes in an entire game? Who continued to not let him pass the ball while not being able to run the ball against a rival? I mean, you really have to think about this. Like, what is it that you're trying to prove with this? There's something wrong here. And I jokingly continue to say that I think that Luke Getsy coached his best game for the Packers yesterday. And I'm saying that because, this looks weird, right? So you haven't given him a chance. And look, guys, you saw the product on the field. You saw the first game of the season. You saw the second game of the season. You saw the third game of the season. You saw all of these games here where Justin Fields did not get the benefit of downfield passing. And when they decided to open it up, what did they do? Screens. Guys, think about that. I want you to think about this. Is it because Justin Fields can't make the throws? We've been watching him make the throws when he's needed to make throws. But he's not allowed to audible out. He's not allowed to break down, check down out of the defense. And he's not allowed to call his own plays. Now, if that is a problem for you, then like Ahmad says here, yeah, go draft a new quarterback that you're comfortable with allowing to do that. Because if you're not allowing Justin Fields to do that, you don't trust him to begin with. Rodzilla says the Packers game let us know it's not a Justin problem. Now, I'm going to say this. Again, you have to make a decision if you're the Bears. And you got to have Ryan Poles. You got to have Kevin Warren. You got to have Matt Eberflus. I'm assuming at this point Matt Eberflus is still the coach. You guys have to say, is this the guy that will take us to the Super Bowl? Is this the guy that can get us to the Super Bowl? And I'm going to tell you this. The answer to that is yes. He can get you to the Super Bowl. Can he win you a game? Probably. This is a talented man. So I don't know that moving on from him and starting over makes this team better. I don't know if you pass on. Look. Here's what I want to say. We're talking about Caleb Williams as a generational talent. Well, we're also talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. as a generational talent. We're also talking about Roma Dunze as maybe he's better than Marvin Harrison Jr. We're also talking about Malik Neighbors. Didn't he have better stats than Marvin Harrison Jr.? Are we seeing the product on the field? We're also looking at Drake May and saying that Drake May has tested almost as high as Caleb Williams. What are we doing? I mean, guys, you have to think about this objectively. The next piece is, if you decide that Justin Fields is your guy over Caleb Williams, then what you have to do is you have to be prepared to give Justin Fields $40 million a year in 2 years. So you got to be sure that he's your guy, because he might not take that home team discount. He might not be Tom Brady. He might not be willing to take that pay cut in order to make the team better. So you don't know that. You don't know who he is. You don't know his character. You know, as a character man, you don't know what the move is. You know he's a great kid. You know that he's a man. But so what is the next step? So you get behind closed doors. You decide whether or not Justin Fields is your guy. If you say he's not your guy, he's gone. Now, Caleb Williams, is that your guy? So that's it. Robbie Come Up says, all you had to do was watch Love to know Fields sucks. Well, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say, Robbie, Justin Fields doesn't suck. I'm going to say that Justin Fields has not been coached properly, and this defense or this offense has not been coached properly to take advantage of his skill set at any point during the time he's been here. So you can say that Justin Fields not a great quarterback because he has made mistakes. And I want to preface by saying that his stats indicate that he has a problem. He doesn't make quick reads. He hasn't done a lot of the easy things. Or he's made some of the easy things harder. But he's also not getting the benefit of coaching. And if you're not getting the benefit of coaching, then, what are you supposed to do? Like, what are you supposed to do with that? So, and now the other thing is, if that's the case, is the problem in that case Matt Eberflus, or is the problem Luke Getsy? And if the problem is Luke Getsy, why didn't Matt Eberflus do anything about it? Jeremy says, that's a horrible take, Robbie. Fields as a passer is poor. Well, let's also, when we say poor, I would say that he is average. And I think when you look at the stats, you're going to have to at least call him average, because 2023 passing, he ended up at 60% completion. And look, 60% completion used to be the gold standard in quarterbacks. Now it's a little closer to 65 to 70 at this point, but um, let me also say that, what if he had somebody behind him that trusted him, that allowed him to make decisions? Who would he be? We don't know the answer to that because he wasn't allowed that opportunity. So we're not going to make that decision. What we need is we need Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles to come up with that decision. But I think the decision right now that they're trying to make is right there. I think that this is the decision that they're thinking through right now. So I get the sense today the Bears did nothing. Our law, this is a hot take right here. Eberflus failed to have input to his OC, or that is what it translated to on the field. That right there seems to me to be one of the best takes that I've seen so far. Now, if Eberflus was the one that was saying we need to run the ball and we need to take the ball out of Justin's hands, then we probably need to consider that Matt Eberflus cannot coach this team, because even if first of all, let's go with the end result here. 7-10 season, missed the playoffs yet again. Didn't matter how many games we won. Didn't matter how well we did after the first couple of games. Why not air the ball out? Why not open the game up? Why not try? Why not try to find out what you have in this quarterback rather than just deciding what you have in this quarterback? Because we've seen flashes of brilliance out of Justin Fields. And to be fair, we won 6 out of the last 8 games, right? So obviously there's something going right with the Bears in the second half of the season. Because we're fans, we look at this and we try to look at this entire, when it's convenient and we're doing what we want, then we say, we say that we like a certain blah, 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 blah. And we only look at the stats that we want. But when it's not going the way that we want, then we look at different stats. So this is a game that, we have no idea what somebody wants to do, I guess is the best way to sum this up. So Matt Eberflus, somehow or another, I don't think that if he was not involved in the offense, then shame on him. I understand that maybe he didn't have time. And of course, he did have to fire his defensive coordinator for God knows what. They didn't say. And the running backs coach for God knows he didn't say. But those were also Matt Eberflus hires. So what are we talking about here? So this is what I think. And I don't care, by the way. I have no skin in this game. I want to be honest with you guys. I am a Chicago Bears fan before I'm a Justin Fields fan. I think that Justin Fields can take the Bears to the Super Bowl. I think that a quarterback whisperer like a Tommy Rees out of Alabama, Eric Bieniemy, I think that a good offensive coordinator who understands how to get the best out of a quarterback would get the best out of Justin Fields. Thus, I think the Bears can get to the Super Bowl with Justin Fields. But is that a risk that you want to take? Like, how far do you want that to go? How long do you want that to take? What do you do there? So what do you guys think? I mean, what's the next move? And Ravi really likes the I assume he likes the receiving core that we have. And as a matter of fact, Cole Kmet, I don't think that he's all pro. I mean, I think I think he's decent. I certainly like him. I think he's a tough, hard-nosed player, but I think that we should at least consider that the team is much better with a good receiving core. Darnell Mooney did not cut it. Tyler Scott did not cut it. Chase Claypool was an absolute disaster. So much of a disaster that he had one catch after he left the Bears. I mean, this guy said, all I got to do is get off the Bears and I'm going to be better. I wasn't even trying. Well, he wasn't trying for Miami either. So, it's you can only do so much. So you got the number 1 pick, you got the number 9 pick. It's going to be my pick. Here's what I think should happen. I think number 1, you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. You decide, first of all, you decide on your quarterback. I think Justin Fields should be your guy. That being said, number 1 pick is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. My number 9 pick, I'm going to be looking for some help on defense because look, the reason that, and by the way, I do want to stress here, the Packers, they only scored 17 points. Like they didn't score a lot of points. But they also did not pressure the quarterback nearly the way you would like them to do. So at the 9 pick, I'm going to be looking for Jared Verse, or if he's available, and I know this is going to probably make people go, what? But I would want either Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze. And hear me out. If we have DJ Moore, if we have Malik Neighbors, and we have Rome Odunze, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. You've got 3 guys who will get open, and then you've got a 4th guy, an outlet in Cole Kmet. You've got a team that's probably got the best wide receiving core in football in one draft. So in the event that you could make a move where you could pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. and one other guy, now you've got a team that, look, if you decide that that he's not the guy, then just move on and, get somebody in free agency. And guess what? Everybody's going to look like a superstar with that wide receiving core. I mean, guys, we have to be able to realize that. Now, if you don't and you want to take it, then you're going to take Caleb Williams at number 1. You're going to give up on Marvin Harrison Jr. And then at around 9, maybe you pick up Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors. You still have an option here. I don't think you're as good an offensive team as you could be, but and by the way, Jeremy, I do want to say this. I don't think that Robbie's a troll. I think Robbie, like many of us, is frustrated with the level of play coming out of this team. I think that, when we see what some of these guys have done or not done, we have an expectation, or we had an expectation of excellence. And I think somebody today, not today, but this year, made a very astute observation, and they said that the Bears are living off of a 1985 Super Bowl Shuffle video at this point. That the McCaskies are more worried about making sure that they make enough money, and they're not worried about putting the best team on the field. And I think they want to put the best team on the field, but I don't think that that's their focus. I think their focus right now is maybe a little bit different, like maybe looking at, getting a new field or something like that. Not a Justin field, but a new field to play in, maybe in Arlington or maybe downtown. We all want the Bears to be successful. We don't all agree. Here's the thing, and I promise you this. In the event that the Bears decide to keep Justin Fields, Robbie's going to be mad at first, and he's going to be like, well, you know what? I want the Bears to win, so let's see what happens. If Justin Fields comes out and starts playing the kind of ball that we all hope he's capable of playing, then guess what? Robbie will now be Justin Fields' biggest fan. Okay, this is the way that this works. It doesn't matter. This is the Chicago Bears that we're rooting for. We're not on Justin, and none of you guys should be on Justin Fields' team. We should think that he's the best player, or we should think that we should move on. But we're all Chicago Bears. We're all looking for the Bears to win. We're not looking at Justin Fields. I don't care whether Justin Fields wins another game or plays another game in Chicago. I care that the Bears put together a fun team that wins ball games, that puts a competitive team out there every single week, that plays tough, hard-nosed defense, and that runs the ball especially well. That's what I care about. That's what I want to see from the Chicago Bears. It doesn't have to be Justin Fields. I would like it to be Justin Fields because I think that Justin Fields is a man of immense character. I think he's great for the community. I think he's great for football. In fact, I think he is a very good kid, but maybe he's not the best quarterback. or maybe he is the best quarterback. We're going to find out. One way or another, we're going to find out. We're not going to find out that answer. Here's the thing that I will say that will not mesh with Robbie. And that is, I do think that no matter what, Justin Fields is an NFL quarterback and will be an NFL quarterback. He'll get every opportunity for success. Now, I think he'll be a better quarterback as we move on. I think he'll be. I think that will be. I think that's going to be the case. I think that he'll become a better quarterback. And Caleb Williams is a Packer fan. I don't care. It doesn't matter whether he's a Packer fan or not. There are a lot of Packers fans that have played for the Chicago Bears. There are a lot of Bears fans that have played for the Green Bay Packers. It doesn't really matter. It's where you get drafted. I mean, if later on, if you want to play for your team one day, that's what free agency is all about. You get one shot to kind of play for whatever team you want to play for, if that team will have you. But this is a business. Caleb Williams will destroy the Packers every single game, no matter what team he plays for, because it's his job. He's not going to give them the win because he likes green and puke or whatever their colors are. But yeah, I think May is okay. So we got one here. May is good. Daniels is really good from LSU. So here's what I say about Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is no better or worse than Justin Fields. I would say that. I would say that he's one of those incredible athletes. I don't think that he has the same. Look, guys, you guys cannot analyze a college quarterback for the NFL. You can see the tools that he makes throws. You can see pieces to their game, but the college game is not the same as the NFL. They're not the same. Nano CBD says, look at the 32 quarterbacks QBR ranking. All right, so let's do QBR ranking 2023. All right, so season leaders, QBR ranking. Number 1 is Brock Purdy, and the last one is not Justin Fields. Justin Fields came in number 23. Now, Jordan Love came in number 9. I do want to point that out. And by the way, when you look at Justin Fields, you look at Jordan Love. When you look at Jordan Love, really, he came into a system that had Aaron Rodgers. So he had the players that Aaron Rodgers was surrounded with. I do think that presents an advantage. They know how to play an elite level of football. And no disrespect to the Chicago Bears, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers, it's Aaron Rodgers. He could do things that other people just absolutely could not do. Okay. But how much of this 23rd ranking right here, how much of this is because of the way Justin Fields was coached? That is, I think we need to at least come to we don't have to come to an agreement, but at least we should have an understanding that I think Justin Fields was miscoached. And I don't think that Luke Getsy served him well. And I don't think that he gave him every opportunity to succeed. And I think Matt Eberflus should have done more to make sure that he had that. But I don't think that he did. So I will say that. And I think that, that's the decision. Again, this is Kevin and Ryan. They have to make this decision. Is Justin Fields the guy? If he's the guy, then you surround him with Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors. Take away the excuses. And look, here's my other thing. If he doesn't work out, you got Arch Manning sitting in the wings. You have other quarterbacks that are out here. You're not just stuck with. You can get a decent quarterback in the next draft, and you can get them in the first round. You're not going to be, and they're not going to be light years ahead. Caleb Williams is not the game changer, or at least I don't think that he's the game changer. It could be. I could be way wrong. But look, we go through a lot of quarterbacks just to find a couple of them that are pretty decent. And by the way, we were talking about how good Zach Wilson was earlier, and Zach Wilson is the worst quarterback in the league. I mean, Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh's starting quarterback, Kenny Pickett, one of the worst in the league. So look, we don't know. We're not always right. Um, we can build a nasty team through the draft that can compete with average quarterback play. And if Fields is not the guy, then we move on, and the next quarterback will have a good team to develop with. Now, let me also say, I don't say that he's the guy of the future, but look, if Justin Fields doesn't work out this year, and you whiff on Caleb Williams, I mean, Tyson Bagent will come in and he will lead you to an okay, like he was a brand new guy. Like one thing that nobody here is one of those stats that nobody here is ready for is how many interceptions Peyton Manning threw in his first season. So to see Tyson Bagent go out there and really struggle because he's not making the throws right, he's not great. He doesn't throw the ball hard enough. The question, arm strength has to be there, and it's not there. But he's a game manager, so if Justin Fields doesn't work out, we could still have a decent season with Tyson Bagent coming in, just in case of a catastrophic situation. Bagent will not throw as many interceptions as he did, but remember, he was brand new. He was just learning this. And look, there is a big difference between Division II football and what he's watching in the NFL. He has to learn, and he will. He just hadn't to that point. So, look, I think that the future is bright. What I would like to see is Deontay Foreman come back, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we need to work around the run, and I think that we need to come in. Eric Bieniemy, I don't know what it's going to take to lure him away from Washington, but Eric Bieniemy is one of those guys that we should look at. I really like Tommy Rees, and I'm not a big fan of Notre Dame. I'm not saying it because he was the Notre Dame quarterback. In fact, the reason that I'm saying that Tommy Rees is the guy is because Jalen Milroe, the quarterback for Alabama, looked very, very bad at the beginning of this season, and Alabama looked very, very beatable. And Tommy Rees, throughout the entire playbook, like he stopped everything that they were doing throughout the entire playbook, and he allowed Jalen Milroe to come up with the plays. Like, what plays do you like, Jalen? Let's work with those. And then they found the plays that worked for him, and they made sure that they played. That's the kind of football they played for the rest of the year. That was unbelievable. Tommy Rees was a genius when it came to what they did with Alabama this year. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be great, but it does mean that there's a chance that this guy could have a really good ear for quarterbacks. So there's a lot of options out there. So I don't know what you guys think. I think that it's tough. This is a tough thing. Again, I'm going to go back to it. I would like to see Justin Fields stay. I would like to see Marvin Harrison. I would love to see Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison and DJ Moore be the wide receivers. And by the way, just so you guys understand, there's a reason that I picked Malik Neighbors over Roma Dunze. Roma Dunze, I think, is the big guy. He's 6'2", 4'2", 40. He's got everything that you want, but I don't know that going downfield is optimal, or having another downfield option is optimal for the Chicago Bears. I think what is important is the Chicago Bears have somebody who can create separation and get open so that Justin Fields can get the ball to them. So that leads me to DJ Moore, and that leads me to Malik Neighbors, and then Marvin Harrison, who can also create enormous amounts of separation and is a generational talent, at least I think. That guy can go down the field. Like, this is, it seems to me, common sense. I really think that we're on to something here. Now, if that doesn't happen, then Caleb Williams with that first overall pick, maybe even trade down, get a few picks out of it. I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be interesting to see over the next couple of days. But the most important part of it is I think we need to find out what is going to happen here at this game right now. Washington has scored going into halftime, and it's now 17-10 Michigan. And after this game, that's when I think some decisions are going to be made. I do think that the reason we didn't hear anything today is because they want to put out feelers to Jim Harbaugh and say, look, you just won a national title, or no matter what, they want to talk to him. And he wants to talk to them and decide whether or not this is a homecoming. So if that's the case, then I think we're good. I think that this is the start, or potentially a start. And by the way, guys, I appreciate you, Robbie. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and turn the bell on for notifications. I do one Bears video a day. This live was just at random because I see, all these guys coming out with the lives, and I think my take, by the way, is better than some of those other guys. You know what I mean? And I mean, guys, we should at least recognize there are a lot of issues, right? Justin Fields has never had an offensive line. I think he's had at least a fairly decent offensive line this year. And I think we saw better performance, and we saw 7 wins. And look, guys, I don't want to dwell on this. I want you guys, I think that we should all, if we can, and if we can at least agree to this, let's take a step back and let's really look at this schedule, okay? We were not going to win 38-20 in that first game. Maybe we were not going to win this game against the Buccaneers 27-10 or the Chiefs at 41-10, but we had a chance to beat the Broncos. So we had one potential win that was easy. Then we lost to the Vikings by 6 points, another potential win, okay? The Chargers, no. The Saints, we could have beaten the Saints. We had opportunities against the Saints. As a matter of fact, up until the end of the game, that's when Tyson Bagent first came in. We had a shot at the Saints. So that's 3 wins right there. Then we lost to the Lions we gave up a ridiculous amount of points, 14 points or 17 points in the last 4 minutes of the game. That's ridiculous. But that's 4 wins, right? That's now we got 4 wins that we could have had. Then you have the Browns. That's 5 wins. Now, let's go back to the schedule and let's go look at this team. This is a team that ended up 7-10. This is a team that could have ended up 12-5 just by winning some close games. Now, for those of you that want to gut this team and break this team apart and scrap it for parts and just start over, I think that's foolish because we're so much closer than you're giving this team credit for. And dare I say this, if they had opened up the offense and we had spent a season here letting Justin Fields just go and play to his strengths, and we had won those games, we probably had at least the gas to beat the Packers. I don't say that we would beat the Packers here at the end, but we were within a touchdown, and that's fair enough. That's an opportunity to have scored. And look, there were plenty of errors. I don't want to say that we're better than the Packers. The Packers play better as a team than most other teams, even at 9-8. But we had a chance, and that's what you want, is a chance. Now, if we have chances and we can take those chances and we can win, then now all of a sudden you're looking at a 13-4 team. Now, let's take that one step further and look at the standings. If we had won the close games, guys, we're the best goddamn team in football. That's how close this is. And that's the part that I think that's the frustrating part for a lot of people, because the Ravens had the best record at 13-4. If we could just have gotten close on those 6 games that we lost by less than 10 points, just those right there. And look, those fall. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's 50-50. But it usually tends to, if you have a bad season, it usually ends up that the next season you have a little bit better because you've learned a little bit. You've gotten better at coaching, at winning, at playing those close games. So, even if you split the difference here, you're a playoff team. You're 10-2. If you split those 6 games and only won 3 of those, you're now 10-7, and you're beating the Packers into the playoffs. That's how close this team was or is. And we're treating it like Justin Fields is a failure. So when Rami, not to pick on Rami, obviously, but like Robbie says, get rid of Justin Fields. Well, yes, if you want to, sure, at the end of the season, but until then, this team was that close to the playoffs. And if you blame Justin Fields for all of that, I think that would be foolish. I think that Justin Fields shares some blame, but I also think that some of his coaching is the reason that he has to share that blame. And I hope that makes sense to everybody. I hope everybody understands what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that everybody nailed it and any of them got it completely done. Like I don't think anybody absolutely crushed it and laid it out there for us. But I mean, guys, this is the record right here. 13-4 is the Baltimore Ravens. By the way, for those of you that don't know, I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. So Lamar Jackson is my guy. I love that Justin Fields plays ball like Lamar Jackson. But I want to say that, by the way, Bulls win yet again. God damn it, man. You sit Zach LaVine down, and the Chicago Bulls are looking like a playoff team all of a sudden. But the point is, again, you split the difference here, and you're in the playoffs. Yeah, you win the games that you could win, and you're the best team in the league. I mean, that's how close this was. Robbie, I think he thought I think we thought that Lucas Patrick was going to be able to do it. I mean, that's it. I mean, we thought he was going to do that. We thought that Dan Feeney was going to be a capable backup. We also thought that Cody Whitehair might have just a little bit more mileage left in the tank. You know what I mean? I think that we were kind of there, and it just didn't work out. It just did not work out. So, and I'm not trying to offend any of these guys. But obviously they didn't perform as well. And look, that was a minor problem that reared its head a few times, but that's not the entirety of the issues with this team. That's not the entirety of the issue. And you know what? I would be interested to see that stat. I don't think that's as accurate as we think. I think that we did make some. I think we did have some. I mean, obviously we've got Robert Tonyan, we've got Darnell Mooney, we've got some significant drops, but I don't know that. As a matter of fact, most drops NFL team 2023. You might be right. You know what I mean? You might be. You might be absolutely nailing it. Number one team in drop passes was the Chiefs at 40. The Bears, on the other hand, are down here. They were one of the best teams in the league. See, that's why I disagreed with that. I don't think that was the case. I think that there's a lot more drop passes. We didn't pass the ball enough to have enough drops. So the 49ers were the best team, then the Steelers, the Cardinals, Broncos, Eagles, and then the Bears. The Bears only had 19 drops. It's exacerbated when you have easy ones. For example, Robert Tonyan, God damn it, that should have been a touchdown. You know what I mean? That should have been a touchdown. Darnell Mooney, he should have saved that game. You know what I mean? There are things that could have been better. So, I mean, that's definitely, and I appreciate that, man. That was actually an interesting stat to go look up. Because again, I don't think that, some of these things that we see, that's not the reason. I think the reason is I think that they miscoached. I think that Luke Getsy should have given the ball to Justin Fields a little bit more, give him a little bit more trust. Justin Fields could not audible out. Remember that. He could not audible out. Maybe should have been able to do that. It doesn't mean that he would have done it right. Doesn't mean that it wouldn't have been a problem. But maybe he should have had an option to do that. And yeah, unapologetic truth. Tyler Scott did drop 3 passes in a game, but this has still been a good team. Didn't have enough passes. I think that's if we were airing the ball out like Justin Fields, maybe that would have happened, but it just didn't. All right, guys, that's it for me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more of this. We're going to be talking about. I am fascinated by this draft. In fact, I really would like to see, and I'll give you guys my breakdown here. Justin Fields, I would like to see him stay, but I mean, if he doesn't stay, okay. What I would really like to see though is Justin Fields stay, and then I would like to see Matt Eberflus stay. I would like to see him bring in an offensive coordinator, and maybe Vic Fangio, bring him back. I mean, what's up? Third time's the charm, isn't it? So I would like to see. Let's rebuild this coaching staff with people who understand Justin Fields. If we're going to do that, bring in somebody who understands Justin Fields and can coach Justin Fields and gives him an opportunity, the best opportunity for success. That's what we don't have right now. Luke Getsy does not do that. Give him that opportunity and then surround him with enough talent that it doesn't matter what's going on. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter what's going on. And then, goddamn you Packers, we are coming for you. This, you know what? I lied to you this year. I told you that we were going to dominate you. I lied to you. I couldn't help myself. I was caught up in the hopium of that last game of the season that take them out of the playoffs. That the Bears finally had that little thing, and then what did the Bears do? They reverted back to the old frustrating, not going downfield sort of thing. So, oh well. But guys, we will see you guys soon. Also, if you're into cryptocurrency or anything like that, and you look at cryptocurrency, I am Bleeves Crypto, so you can go look me up on YouTube. Bleeves Crypto. I've got about 32,000 subscribers. We talk about crypto. I'm live every morning at 8 a.m. over there. So if you want to go check that out, if you have any interest in cryptocurrency, we are talking Bitcoin. We are talking Ethereum. We are talking about all the cryptocurrencies that you love, and you can check me out over there. But until then, I appreciate you so much, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.